starts now.
Namu.
15 seconds. 15 seconds, Kasami.
Marine.
10 seconds. 10 seconds. All right. There you have gauntlet that he's going to get throughout the entire game. Um, it looks like for the side of Namu Puno that they are going for a little bit of a hide in the bush play to see if an invade comes through. But I don't think that's happening. I think that the mod team feels that they might be slightly weaker with that Viola Rona on the side of Namu Puno. Alpha doesn't get is not strong level 1. She gets a huge level 2 power spike. It's something that Mizu understands and that she's going to be playing around. That's why they're just starting the back. So it looks like everybody's content to just start with a normal back rotation and meet forward in the middle to contest that first treant. But now Typhoon is just giving it up. Not sure why that's happening. The very slow rotation by the side of Namu Puno. By the time they're able to even get there, the middle change is already gone, and the front two bears. That's an extra 90 gold and a little bit of experience. Now this is going to be a little bit of a 2v3. We'll see if Jewel is able to come through. Mizu going in with her typical aggression. Jewel does jump in, but misses the jump. Rona already is kind of low. Kosame is trying to throw barriers out. Mizu's going to look to see if anything is up. It is not. She goes for the recall. Nobody dies, but I would go and call that little bit of a fight a win for the side of the mod team. It looks like it's going to be a CP alpha, so if we're going for that explosive damage, she understands that if she can get in quickly onto someone like the Maline and do a huge amount of damage with CP, she might not have time to use her dark ability to get out of those types of situations. Also, with the engage with the Lyra portal, the CP Rona might work a little bit better along with that. And also, you want to have a mix of CP and weapon power on your Jewel and Alpha. But it looks like a kill already comes through for the side of uh, Namu Puno, and that is going to be first blood for them. So that's a pretty big first blood. Rona is one of those heroes that if she does start to get a little bit ahead, she can just output insane amounts of damage. Um, a little bit of gold stolen away there. The center train is up. Gumpy going in seemingly by himself, and Muser's rotating around the back on the alpha. But now this looks like it's going to be another free healing treant, barrier treant for the side of the mod team. Mizu does pick up that 140 gold for himself. It's shared onto Gumpy. So once again, that goes over to the side of the mod team. We'll have to take a look at like what this means for the gold difference. The mod team, both of these games, is playing a little bit cleaner, a little bit, um, a little bit more as a team. Whereas Namu Taipuno is just a tiny bit messier, meaning that they're not sharing gold quite as well. However, Bits gets just a tiny bit of damage done onto him, but it doesn't matter. He has a Lyra. Lyra can just heal himself right back up. It's going to be heals versus barriers this game. Kosame has the barriers on the Viola, and Gumpy has the heals on Lyra with with her Lyra. So now once again they're waiting for for some trees to spawn the mod team over on their half of the map, and there they go. Meanwhile, uh, Greg in the back on Rona is just farming by himself. They're not sharing that golden experience. Kosami is just sort of sitting in lane the whole time, babysitting Maline, which doesn't seem to be really necessary the whole time. Now, Rona finally makes a rotation up to lane. She's strong, but the game sense kicks in for my team. They back off. Meanwhile, Mizu's just sitting in the jungle waiting to get the Rona does get both of those forward bears. They just bounce off, so that's a little bit of a win for Rona. She doesn't get any more gold stolen away from her. Gumpy rotates down once again to take that forward healing barrier treant with Alpha, and there's just no context, no contest. It looks like Rona does get that, and she starts with her red mist. Alpha decides to go in. Alpha is just hard targeting the Maline. Meanwhile, they both go on the Lyra. They do kill the Lyra. The heals are down. The first life is almost down. Uh, the big red button comes through from Jewel. A beautiful big red button right on to the Alpha for the kill. Meanwhile, Jewel wants to go for the Viola, and Alpha wants to go for the Rona. They get neither. Um, it was a one-for-one trade, so not too much happening there. But the Alpha is going to get a little bit more gold here. And as we know, when Alpha starts to get too many items on CP, the burst damage just becomes absolutely insane. The gold is exactly even, 11.4 for each team at 5 minutes. It's not something you see too much. And now Rona deciding that she can go in and steal a little bit of extra gold. Amato got poked down to 0.5 health. It just one more tap from a minion or any basic attack would have killed the Maline there. So it was nice to see him survive. We knew exactly the limits of that hero. Um, I'd like to see some play starting around these objectives. The gold miner is just about full. That's going to be a big objective, but both teams are just respecting what the other can do, and it looks like nobody wants to start that quite yet, except for Mizu. Mizu, one of our most aggressive players, um, and because the side of Namatai Puno saw the mod team just back off from the gold miner. They assumed that they really did back off completely, but no, that's not the case. Perhaps they don't know that Alpha can just solo this that quickly. Um, but there it is. She solos it, picks up the infusion. Rona jumps down and is going to try to 1v1 and infuse Alpha, which is perhaps not the best choice, especially because Alpha has 2 lives and Rona goes down. Alpha's first life is taken out, but remember, this is going to come right back up. Kosame just throwing a couple slows at her. She's going to go directly onto that crystal treant and just burn through it in just a couple of seconds. You know, that 1v1 versus Rona may start to spell the beginning of the end if she's able to continue this snowball and keep picking up. Now, they want to go on to this Rona. This is a 2v2. The sleep comes through from Kosame, but it doesn't matter. They're not able to output enough damage onto the side of the mod team. Alpha is about half health there. Another big red button. It looks like Rona does pick up that healing tree, but it's just not enough with the big red button and the burst damage coming through from Alpha. The mod team is starting to flex their lead here just a little bit. Now it's a 2K gold lead. It was even 2 minutes ago, and then within the last 2 minutes, there's been 1,000 gold per minute difference. And I think that just comes down to a little bit. Maybe the mod team has a little bit stronger mechanics. Maybe the mod team has a little bit stronger of a team play where they're able to just move through the game and the jungle as a team. So it looks like the rotations are a little bit more on point. Um, every time the alpha goes in, Lyra knows that she has to be either throw the heals in, get the B down to stop too much movement, stop that into the fray from Rona coming through, stop the Maline from being overly aggressive, and that's exactly what the mod team is doing. And I think that the later that this game goes, both the alpha and the jewel are very strong late game heroes. So the later this game goes, and the further ahead they get, the better chance that the mod team has of sweeping this 2-0. And here we have another fight breaking out. All the damage is just being put onto Gumpy. Gumpy doesn't actually mind that. He's a Lyra. He's the one that's he's not really the primary target that you want to kill. Meanwhile, Mizu is just taking the gold miner again, but Rona's sitting in the bush. She knows that it's happening. Mizu doesn't know that Rona knows, and there it is. An absolutely gorgeous steal by Greg on that Rona. That's a huge, huge part of the game. And Lyra goes down as well, so it's just an absolute disaster. That was 1,000 gold, 376 gold each to the side of NTP. Meanwhile, Mod team loses Lyra, loses the gold. If that second gold payout had gone on to the Mod team, that would have been a huge part of the snowball. But instead, they get it just is completely reversed. Meanwhile, the gold lead has shrunk again. It's at about 1K now. Um, Kosame going interesting. He was hovering over clockwork, but then he went back over to the capacitor plate, and he finally decides on the capacitor plate, which I think is the right decision. That's going to give a 15% buff to all of your barriers, and on a Viola, your barriers are really what's going to be a huge part of how you keep your team alive. If you can stack 3 barriers onto your teammates, that's just a huge extra amount of damage that has to be burned through in order to get those kills. Kosame does have his purple ult up, which is the sleep. So if there's any hard engages, he can sleep it. But the mod team understands where NTP is on the map, and they just rotate down to the Crystal Sentry. They're all separated. The Crystal Sentry goes down. Meanwhile, Maline doing everything that she can to get a turret, and Kosame just wasting time putting the entire team to sleep, making sure that his team can escape and get out. The mod team wants to dive this turret, and they do. So here we go. They just dive in hard immediately after the Rona recalls, and here we go. Mizu goes back in on that Alpha under. A good root under turret. She takes 3 turret shots now. The red mist comes out, trying to focus Gumpy, and he does. But now Greg on that Rona maybe goes a little bit too deep. He didn't really want to go in 1v3, but he does. Maline still has her dark form. She uses it to get out. This is going to be the first turret going down. And Maline dies. And with the gold miner almost full, I expect the mod team to just rotate down and take another free gold miner. So while there was a little bit of a setback there, it doesn't look like that's going to be too much holding them back. 345 gold each. That's 1,000 and something, 1,015 gold total. Kosame using a sleep on one target, leaving a second target not sleeping, but Alpha just turns around after the sleep is over, dives in, and a huge root, but the Alpha is able to go right in and get the kill anyway immediately after the root goes down. That's another 2 kills going on to the mod team, and now they're really starting to just do whatever they want on the map. In a couple seconds, Kraken is going to be up. Let's see. Oh, Measer might have been a tiny bit mispositioned there, but no, Gumpy is around to keep her alive. Amato doing what he can, but there's just the dodging and the sidestepping is just a little bit too strong for the mod team. Now, NTP feels that they have a little bit of a play here. They tried to chase down lane, but they're not able to get there. It seems like this one is just slipping away from NTP as this game goes later and later. Alpha, the burst damage is doing too much. Lyra can heal too much. The Jewel has her own built-in defense, so she's not going to be taking too much damage, and she can just stay back and throw out bees to do damage, and a big red button every now and then for cleanup. NTP does get a good engage on the Alpha, but you can see they just don't do so much damage. Kosame gets a 3-man drowsy and a 3-man sleep, but it is perfectly blocked by Gumpy. Kosame throws a fountain out. It's perhaps just a second too late. Amato goes down. The Rona also goes down, Nemo, and this is going to be an ace. We'll see what they want to do. I expect them to push a turret, take the jungle, maybe go back for the Kraken, and this is looking like it's going to be a win in just the next couple of minutes for the mod team. Yeah, they decide to send the Alpha at the turret, send the Jewel at the Kraken. And Alpha decides to actually go in, even though it's a true 1v3. Let's see if she's able to get any kills here, or if she has completely overextended. She has to use her core charge. Gumpy is going to be able to be there to help her out. Oh, he tries to ult out the Alpha, but it doesn't happen. Alpha has a full another life. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So Gumpy does use his ult to get the Alpha out in a perfectly timed. Everybody's alive. The side of NTP has to recall in order to deal with this Kraken. The mod team now is going to be there just in time to march up with the Kraken. Unless something goes horribly wrong here, this is probably going to be the end of game number 2 in just about 15 minutes, unless NTP can play this absolutely perfectly. Meanwhile, Jewel's not even waiting for the Kraken. She's deciding that if she just does enough damage to the turrets, that's all that matters, because Alpha has so much damage built in. Big root onto her, but all they need to do is just do a little bit of damage onto the crystal, and the Kraken is going to do the rest. However, they have a Rona. I don't think it's going to be enough. Let's see. One more hit by the Kraken, and there it is! Just a couple of seconds too late. They understood the limits of what they needed to do there. The mod team executed, and that is 14 minutes and 58 seconds. And the mod team pulls out a 2-0 sweep.